Hey, it's PMR. I did a photo shoot last week, family portraits, and I thought I would take you with me on that shoot vicariously through the images that I shot. And first, we're going to talk a little bit about the gear I used, and then we're going to get right into the shoot itself. When the 2870 f2 GM came out, I know it's going to be heavy because I'd felt the Canon one. And I was like, I'm not interested in hauling weight anymore. I'm done with that. But then I started looking at the weight of the lenses I was carrying in my bag for portrait shoots. What I want to do is kind of go through and show you a family portrait session, and I'm going to do the unthinkable. I'm going to show you right out of the camera, straight out of the camera with no toning whatsoever. So exactly what I got. So the only gear I used was one camera, one lens, one trigger, one light, one stand, one modifier. What transpired is interesting on this photo shoot. And I think you'll find that when you look at what I tell you to look at, which is what millimeter I'm at, you will see how often I changed focal length, like big time. I'm at 28 sometimes, I'm at 70 sometimes, but I'm everywhere in between. And each time you see a jump of more than, say, 8 or 10 millimeters, remember that would be a lens change, which takes time. And this entire photo shoot from start to finish lasted 41 minutes. That's from the time I had the light set up, where I had the modifier on, where I had the trigger, working, triggering the light on the camera. That's when the 41 minutes started. And so I think that I finished this job in record time, but not because I was in a hurry, just because I always had the right lens on the camera, which is pretty cool. So enough of me talking, enough about the gear check-in. Let's just look at the pictures and remember, be kind to me because these are untoned. These are straight out of the camera. So don't be hating on me now.
All right, the very first thing I want you to do is to pay very close attention to this area right here. This is the lens focal length. So you'll see the aperture mostly is at f2 the whole shoot, but sometimes it'll jump up to 2.5 near the end when I had like 5 people and there were 2 rows, and then I actually did that. So the shutter speed is going to be mostly 500th of a second, but that might change too. But really right now, I just want you to focus on this right here. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to speed through this, and I want you to watch that deal. And just look at how many different focal lengths are represented in this shoot. Okay, so we are almost there. Okay, that's the end. So that's 41 minutes worth of photography. I stopped at 9:55 a.m. and I started at 9:17, I think it was. So we're in multiple locations. We're moving around. I'm moving around a lot, and I'm zooming a lot, more than I ever thought I would. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here. We're going to just look and see what I'm doing. So I'm at 33 millimeters here, 28 millimeters here. I don't like the flagpole in the background. This is like a utility light or something like that. So I was like, I hate that. So then I moved over a little bit, and then I kept trying to get that out of the frame. Now I did, by zooming, 37 millimeter, 35, 33. Now it's back in there, 32, 35, 28, 28. There's this huge red barn. By the way, this guy, who's the dad of the family, he's, I think, 3rd generation on this farm. And so this barn has been like, his dad and his grandpa and all that stuff. It's really cool. So note that I'm up to 1,000th of a second f2, 31 millimeter, 32 millimeter, 28 millimeter. Really, this is high-speed sync, of course. This is A1 Mark II. And I'm just kind of looking around. 46 millimeter, 45, 43. Vertical, 56 millimeter, 50 millimeter. Just kind of looking at what is cool. 47, 48, 47, 46, 49, 48, 46, 46, 45, 44. 36 millimeter, 37. Now it's getting real clean because I'm out of the trees. Note that I've always got people in open shade. If you look at the grass, you're going to kind of see an outline of the shaded area. So they're standing underneath like two big trees that have lots and lots of leaves. So, and if I shoot too fast, sometimes the light doesn't give enough light. And then when I relax, I get the perfect exposure, which is this 28 millimeter from 36. So that would have been a lens change for sure. 28. Now we do a different setup. Notice I'm trying to clean up the background by putting grass behind their heads and the barn. The barn is just like this. The barn's a member of the family. You know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm going with this. The light is changing radically quickly. Notice I'm down to 6/40th of a second from 1,000 because the big cloud came over. We had a really perfect sky for this whole shoot because it wasn't bright sunlight yet, and it was real overcast, which is great. So now I'm at 54, 52, 50 millimeter. So already I've done a 50, a 35, and a 28 if you're thinking in terms of, straight lenses. So that would be, the 28 f2 or the 24 1.4. It would have been the 35 1.4 G Master. It would have been the 50 1.2. All that adds up to a whole lot more weight than a 28 to 70 f2 G Master. So 37, 52, and look at how quickly I go from this setup now into this setup. Let's look at the time change. 9:32 and 4 seconds, 9:33 and 49. So really about a minute and a half, and I'm shooting a new picture, and I immediately see that I've got too much light. So I make an adjustment on the flash. Now it's looking good. Really, really light. I love this, man. So I'm using a 59-inch Octabank, by the way, made by Photix. And that's on an Avenger Rocky Mountain Leg C-stand, which is extremely important for family portraits because you're never on level ground when you're in a yard. And this is like a big sloping hill going up to the barn, so that light stand is really crucial. I'll put a link to that in the comment section or the description section below. So 70 millimeter. Now I'm at 70, like I'm doing some tight stuff of just the parents. Very nice. I think most people would think this was 135. It's just because I'm so close. You get no depth of field that way. Very nice couple. It's so cool to be like out. Okay, here we go. So 70, now I'm 63, 62, 61. Now they're on a blanket, another setup. The gazebo in the background is where they got married. So this is kind of another significant. So I've kind of given up on the barn because they wanted me to shoot the gazebo. So 38 millimeter, 35 millimeter, 45 millimeter. That's another lens change right there. 53 millimeter, 61 millimeter, another lens change. 58, 55, 58. Notice I'm walking my exposure in. I'm kind of shooting and looking through the EVF, and I'm making decisions. And note I went from 6/40th to 1,000th because it was too bright. So I'm using shutter speed to change the overall exposure with high-speed sync. And by the way, if you've never messed with the Westcott strobes, they're just awesome. It's the most simple, straightforward, easy way to control artificial light, and love it. Anyway, so 800 of a second. Now they're inside the gazebo where they got married with their son, and they got this little onesie with the little brother on it because they're expecting. 28. So 28 horizontal, then 37. That's a lens change. 35. We're still with that lens. Now he's up front. Look at how you can blow the background out at f2, even at 37 millimeter. So really, really nice. And yeah, of course, all this is lit with that same setup. I don't really do available light too much. Actually, I just do it when I shoot sports, and that's it. So we're goofing around. He's laughing. Okay, so 28 millimeter. Now his mom and dad came. So this is another generation. So we got 3 generations in one picture, which is cool. And they were just there to kind of visit and to watch. And I immediately pulled them in because it's a family portrait, and this is family. And it was their barn. So they still live like on a different part of the property in a different house. But Anyway, pretty cool. So here's 28 millimeter, 30, 33, 32, 30. You can kind of see what I'm doing. 35, 36, 32, 52. This is a friend. There's a mistake here that I kind of want to point out. This is what most people that shoot outdoor portraits, available light, get. And then they have to work with this in Photoshop or in Lightroom or whatever to fix it. And it just, lighting is so much better, because when you start with this, you can do like so much more than you can when you start with this. But anyway, I digress. So we're doing this. Now we're doing the three of them. Oops, a blink. I'm going to delete that one. Sorry about that. I missed that. Okay, so we're just going through. All right, now just her by herself with the barn. I didn't really like this too much, the door by her head. 44 millimeter, 70 millimeter, got better. All right, now it's starting to get good because she's now blocking the door. I just moved a little bit. 70 millimeter, 70 seemed right for this. Very simple picture, but that, again, the barn is a member of the family, so I'm really, really looking at that. And these are before I tone them, right? So, and the little boy wanted to do a crazy fun picture, and this was what they did, which was great. I loved it. Notice how I bumped the aperture to 2.5 because they were moving around, and I was like, yeah, I better get a little bit more depth of field. Another thing I want you to notice too, this is a 37 millimeter at 2.5. Just look at the barn. Look at how blown out this is and how nice and easy the out of focus area looks. It's very, I use the word organic a lot, but it doesn't look lensy. It doesn't look weird. So I kind of dig this, man. So anyway, then I thought, well, I've got the mom and dad. Let's just do some portraits of them. Let's just do that. It's like, there's like the open door again. This is the sky through the barn, which bothered me. So I just moved a little bit, and 42 to 47 millimeter, 65 millimeter, 67 millimeter. You can kind of see I'm zooming in. I just want to really get this. 70 millimeter. Nice. And like they know it's the barn back there. So very cool. He had a great smile here. That's a great smile. Love it. Okay. We're almost to the end. 56 millimeters. This would have been a lens change basically. Would have been taking off the zoom and then taking off 7200 and going to a 50 or whatever. 43 millimeter. Anyway, you can see how much I, in this shoot, just changed constantly. The focal length is changing all the time, and I'm in a very much kind of a different, really cool mode where I'm just moving around fast. We're moving quickly through the shoot. They're not getting tired of the whole experience. It's just a really nice way to work. Really nice way to work. So anyway, the 2870 in general is going to be a fixture in my kit. And to the extent of that, I'm not really sure, but I know for sure I'm going to sell my 35 GM. I'm going to sell my, I have a 51.4 and a 51.2. I'm going to keep the 1.2, but I'm pedaling that 51.4. This lens gives me enough of a prime look where I'm happy with that. The 28f2 lens from Sony is not my favorite as a prime. I think it's got a lot of distortion, barrel distortion. This lens doesn't. And so, bam, like now I don't have to worry about having a 28f2 anymore. That's another lens I can pedal. And remember, the whole point of this is that things are getting lighter for me, not heavier. I'm adding a heavy lens, but I'm getting rid of all these other lenses. And I kind of think a lot of people are going to find their way to this kind of a plan. So we'll see. Hey, thanks so much for watching on PMR.